Welcome to our latest installment of GSW Grand Slam Saturday for May 22nd. This is Big Paulie coming to you, and we have an action-packed series of bouts for you. And we begin with the Dallas Circuit final of the Monarch of the Mat qualifying tournament. It was a 17-man tournament, so we had a two-man play-in and not a battle royal to determine who the 16 seed would be. And boy, oh boy, have we had some surprises in this tournament. Let's first show you the up-to-date roll call with the tournament results also entered in to who is champion. You're going to note the North American Championship has changed, as Shinsuke Nakamura knocked off Danny Hodge to win the North American belt. He is the champ, and it's actually going to be a title defense for him in this very bout. Here are the circuit winners so far. You see them there. We're adding Jerry Lawler and Wahoo McDaniel, who won last week, to the roll this week, and in 4 weeks' time we will have it all filled, and then we can have our first two legs of our 18-man tournament. We'll knock it down to 8, and we'll have the pay-per-view from St. Louis, week 26. In game time sense, we are still in week number 19. You're going to see matches from week 19, and you're going to see matches from week 20 in this show. So now, let's show you who has made the final. And in this Dallas circuit, you'd think there'd be a Von Erich or a Bruiser Brody there. No. We have had loads of upsets, especially in the rounds beyond the first round. We had one major upset in the first round and then a whole bunch of upsets in the subsequent rounds. It is Shinsei Nakamura defending his newly won North American title against Jack Sherry, the old-time grappler. Not a shooter, but very close to it. And we'll go through the tournament results. So we had a play-in in the first round. Les Thornton and Ronnie Etcherson, they were 16A and 16B respectively. If Thornton got a draw, if there was no result in the play-in, then Thornton would advance. So Edgerton had 20 minutes to get the win. He could not. It went to a 20-minute draw. So we moved to the tournament proper, and it went like this. Boris Malenko defeated Joe Blanchard. Shinsei Nakamura defeated Brazo de Plata. Tito Santana over fellow good guy Chris Taylor. Bruiser Brody by DQ over Bugsy McGraw. In a stunning upset in just 350, Jack Sherry defeated Kerry Von Erich in a battle of good guys, but Jack Sherry was just too technical for Kerry to keep up with. Terry Funk very quickly over Bill Dundee, the superstar, in our first North American title defense, because in GSW, in most tournaments that we have had in our history, titles are in play in tournaments. So Danny Hodge beat Ernie Aladd and defeated him. It wasn't a defeat of him. It went to a 30-minute draw, but Hodge moved on based on being the high seed. El Santo won by default on Les Thornton. We heard during the Hodge and Ladd match that Santo got the benefit of a default win because Les Thornton was attacked by Bruiser Brody. So he was prevented from competing, and I'm sure those two have heat with each other that might have to get settled. In the quarterfinals, Jack Sherry defeated Bruiser Brody on a pin at 32:54, a scissors hold. Remember, if you run with scissors, you might harm yourself. Terry Funk over Tito Santana. Shinsei Nakamura here pulled off the upset and got the pin at 21:33. I did not catch the hold that he had applied, but Nakamura did win. It was 21:33. Let me see if I can go back in the tracker and catch what happened. It was a pinfall win, but I didn't catch what the finisher was. So sorry about that. And the other quarterfinal is Boris Malenko upending El Santo. Then in the semifinals, Nakamura defeated Terry Funk on a countout, and Jack Sherry ended the Cinderella run of Boris Malenko. I'll just say that Nakamura won on a small package or something like that, just to have something down. But he did score the pin, and that was that. Hodge had been injured in the first match. He had been busted open by Ernie Aladd, and that might have proved the difference. So it's our finals, and this is the first of a few bouts we're going to have on for you tonight on Grand Slam Saturday. Sherry comes in 3-1, so does Nakamura. If Sherry scores the pin, this is not only the circuit finals, but it is a North American title defense. So if Sherry scores the pin, he is the new champ. And that is so noted by our board here. So they're both 3-1 in year 4. And both these men had big breakthrough wins in our tournament. So we'll show you what happens in this 60-minute time-limited match. If it goes to a draw or if there is no winner, Nakamura will advance into the final stage of our Monarch of the Mat Year 4 tournament. Face rake by Sherry starts us off. Auto control loss, it goes back to Nakamura. Nakamura, a body slam that's countered. Sherry, illegal elbow, no. No action as I pause for just one moment to grab a bottle of water here so I can talk to you without a dry palate. Arm holds used by Sherry, illegal choking by Sherry. Sherry knows how to give his opponents business if need to be. Nakamura, 7 points off of him. Headlock by Sherry. Submission move. No. Sherry's been very workmanlike in the preliminary rounds. Stunned the Dallas faithful by beating Kerry Von Erich, but his progression through the tournament as a 13 seed only proves he shouldn't have been so lightly regarded. Body slam by Sherry, a pin attempt, no. Arm hold by Sherry. Submission move, we'll try it, no. Legal chop by Sherry, followed by an auto control loss, submission move. We're 6 minutes in, and Sherry has only lost 5 points, and Nakamura has lost 63. Pin hold, roll up, but no pin attempt. Choking by Sherry. If I was Nakamura, I'd be getting a little nervous about keeping my belt here. Punches. Specialty move, the fly cross arm breaker. I think that's what, I said small package. I said small package because I don't know what. Might have been a fly cross arm breaker that did in Danny Hodge and gave the title to Nakamura. I just forgot to write it down. Punches used by Sherry. Chop used by Sherry. Arm hold by Sherry. Punches by Sherry. No. And Sherry piling up the points on Nakamura. I think he's already lost the stamina level. Nakamura was busted open in the first bout, so he is impaired in this one. Legal throw by Nakamura. I set him to be injured. Choking by Nakamura. A kick. Ropes move countered, and Sherry now back control. It's a kick for him. And both wrestlers team up. Somebody attacked the ring. We don't know who. And we bid them adieu. Probably Mario Galento, if you've ever heard the story about how he interfered in a televised match between bad guy Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett. Have you ever heard that Mario Galento story? Neck hold. It wasn't a planned run in, so they both combined and just tried to beat the you-know-what out of Mario Galento. Auto control loss, no action, no action. Auto control loss. Suplex attempt by Nakamura, and it scores 11 points off. Sherry is still on his first stamina level. No, actually, he could be on his second by now. No, I'm thinking he's on his first. Punches. I don't know. Scissors hold by Sherry. Pinfall. Brand new North American champion in Jack Sherry as he defeats Nakamura and he captures the North American title, and he'll be pretty tough to beat for it. So Sherry wins. It's 14:54. You know that old Frankie Valli song, Sherry, Sherry Baby? Well, Sherry is your new North American champion. Sherry Baby. My parents were big Frankie Valli fans, in case you didn't know. Sherry by pin. He is the new champion. He picks up 4 ranking points and moves to 116. He was 95 coming into tonight's card. He picked up 21 points. 21 points in total. And let's see what it was a scissors hold. The time was 14:54. The scissors hold. And the final numbers were 116 off of Nakamura and 38 off of Sherry. 3-star match. And Jack Sherry is your brand new North American champion. And he'll go in the next week, and you might just see a title defense of his later on this evening on GSW Grand Slam Saturday. But for now, we move on to our next match. And welcome to another part of our Grand Slam Saturday here on the Big Paulie's World of Sports Sims. This is the second match we have for you. We go to the Los Angeles circuit for the Monarch of the Mat circuit qualifying finals. From there, our main event will be coming at you shortly. But first, and there's always a but first, isn't there? We have had changes in the title picture that took place earlier in this Los Angeles tournament. Scotty 2 Hottie, if you can believe this, is your brand new junior heavyweight champion. Antonino Rocca was part of this Los Angeles tournament, and he only had to defend the junior heavyweight title against members of the junior heavyweight division, which Scotty 2 Hottie was. So he lost the title to Scotty 2 Hottie. Well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but he is going on the road, and he will be the new World Junior Heavyweight Champion. So the 4th reign of Antonino Rocca, the record 4th reign, not lasting too long. Here is the finalists for the final stage, the 18 men who will make it, absent the 7 we have yet to crown, but we're going to crown one right now in Los Angeles. Jack Sherry, as you just saw, won his match. He's now the North American champion. And that takes us to the events that took place in Los Angeles. And stay tuned, folks, because we're going to have in our next bout, Week 20 begins from Houston, and it's Dory Funk Jr. defending the world title against Wahoo McDaniel. So stay tuned. That will be our next match. We started with the 5-man battle royal to determine who would make it as the number 16 seed, and that was Goldust. He wins. That's my imitation, and it sucked. I know. So we go to the first round matches. Scotty 2 Hottie and El Texano. Hottie won by countout. He had to win because I just told you he won the junior heavyweight title later on. Hector Guerrero, El Solitario made a great debut, but they went to a 30-minute draw, and right now Guerrero is higher up in the pecking order, so he advanced. Jackie Fargo and John Cena. The crowd kind of gave a little bit of a mixed reaction in L.A. to Cena. Fargo won by a snug headlock at 10:21. That seemed to please the crowd. Negro Casas over Black Shadow. Rolling reverse, 23:56. Scott Hall lost to Shinya Hashimoto, and by the way, he made the finals, as you're seeing up there, and we'll get you through his progression in just a moment. Series of chops, not chopes. Goodness me. Hector Garza over Great Goliath, the other finalist you see. El Signo upset Cowboy Bill Watts. And Antonino Rocca got by Goldust, but he ran into trouble a little later because Goldust took him to a 30-minute draw. Goldust, not being a junior heavyweight, could not have won the title. In the quarterfinals, Hashimoto continued his nice run. He beat Negro Casas. Hector Garza over Jackie Fargo, battle of good guys. Hector Guerrero over El Signo. And that was the upset in exactly 7 minutes. Scotty 2 Hottie over Antonino Rocca. The Goldust match must have took a lot out of Rocca, as Hottie is the brand new junior heavyweight champion. We go to the semis. It was the battle of the Hectors. Went to a double countout, so Hector Garza advanced for that. And Shinya Hashimoto, defeated Scotty 2 Hottie. Hashimoto, not a junior heavyweight, so he does not win the junior heavyweight title, and Scotty 2 Hottie will hit the road with it. And as I noted, it was almost a good thing that Taylor lost the title. I should have put down Hottie. Scotty 2 Hottie's real name is Scott Taylor, and that's what I was thinking of. Okay, let's find the H. There we go. So here's our finals. Hector Garza and Shinya Hashimoto. Look at the trading of holds. Doesn't apply. Ropes move. With no counter, we don't change anything when that happens. So let's just hit action. Computer likes Garza. Hashimoto comes in paired because he spent 65 minutes combined in his 3 matches, and Garza only spent 28, so he will be impaired and or injured for this Los Angeles final. We've had a couple of wild results this weekend, and I think that's good. So let's get to it. Garza and Hashimoto, if we go to a draw or something with a double happens, Garza will advance to the final stage. Legal chop right away. Garza in trouble. No, he gets out of it. 40 seconds into the bout, he was nearly pinned. The legal leg drop countered by Garza. Garza goes for a leg chop, which scores. And a suplex attempt gets Hashimoto up and over, 9 points off of his total. By the way, Hashimoto 3-0. He made his debut in the first bout, and Garza is now 4-2-1. Body slam by Garza. So Hashimoto picked up a lot of points in this rankings points in this tournament if he doesn't do anything else. Body slam by Garza. A ropes move countered. We go back to Hashimoto. Body slam, no pin. Legal forearm by Garza. Legal chop to the throat by Hashimoto. Kick by Hashimoto. Body slam. No pin. Garza can be pinned early with that 5 third count, that 3 count at 5. Hashimoto will equally be vulnerable with the 4. Ropes move. Flying clothesline. No action. Disqualify check. It's about even so far. 5 minutes in. Kicked by Hashimoto. Submission move. Cobra clutch. No pin or no submission. Auto control loss. We go back to Shinya. Arm holds used outside the ring. Couple of good guys, but they each want to take the very coveted Los Angeles Monarch of the Mat Circuit qualifier so they could each make the final stage. So a lot of stake here. I don't think one man's going to concede to the other. Garza with the kick. Legal chop by Garza. Submission move. No. Garza has control. Pin holds. No pin. No action. And let's see here. Looks like Hashimoto has a submission. Goes for it. No submission. Back to Hashimoto after an auto control loss. And yes, ring post time for Hashimoto, who's been showing a little aggression. He won with choking in the semifinal match with Scotty 2 Hottie. Kick by Hashimoto. Legal throw by Hashimoto. Legal, not illegal. Auto control loss. No action. Legal forearm by Hashimoto. 4 pin attempts so far for Hashimoto and 1 for Garza. We're 13:03 into the bout. And Hashimoto doing a little better damage-wise. Legal forearm by Hashimoto. And a suplex attempt. Could we have our second straight 13 seed win a tournament? We just had Jack Sherry win a tournament. Throat chop by Garza countered. Body slam by Hashimoto. No pin. No pin. We're almost 15 minutes into the bout now. Submission move countered by Garza. Garza goes for the supplé, and he gets it. Garza's still down a little bit on damage by about 44 points. Both men looking like they're about to lose a stamina level as we move on. Triangle choke. No pin. Legal punches by Hakimoto. Legal neck hold by Hakimoto. And we have a... Looks like Hakimoto may have been concussed. He'll have a head injury, but he will not miss any action. And we did not have Hakimoto scheduled. Oh, I'm still in my widescreen here. So, folks, let me just come in over here. There we go. And he'll be out for 2 days after this match. Let's take a look and see if I had Hakimoto in action in the regular card on week 20. I did not. So what we do when that happens is we go down here to... can't set the injured wrestler. Okay. Trying to find a way to... And I probably could do it. I could exchange holds. Oh, here's my wrestler to trade. So this is what we do. And I'll move this up here so you can see it. We're stopping the bout to change holds, whip ropes, headlock. I'll just say this is a concussion that Hakimoto has suffered, but he would not be in action on the next card because I've already set up the next card for Los Angeles. And the pin hold becomes a headlock too. And we just set it up right away as soon as we see it. Strategy card used and countered by Hakimoto. A kick by Garza. Garza taking the brunt of the damage, but this could be a turning point in the bout for him. Hakimoto with 5 of the 6 pin attempts so far. Arm hold countered. Specialty move, moonsault, countered by Hakimoto. Arm hold, Hakimoto wrestling a smart match right now. Legal punches was countered. Specialty move, lariat, does not score. We are almost 20 minutes in. Arm holds used by Hakimoto. It is 88 off of Hakimoto. Garza getting tired. He's at 160. Eye gouge by Hakimoto. Both these guys, hey, they want to make it to the final 18 in this tournament. Submission move. Calgary and Portland will be our next stops for Monarch of the Mat as we inch closer to finding all 18 finalists. Arm breaker by Hakimoto, countered by, and then another move countered by Garza. Kick by Garza. Arm holds used by Garza. Good bout so far. Body slam by Garza. That scores. Then a counter. Kick by Hakimoto. Supplé attempt. No pin. Both these guys are getting groggy now. Submission move was countered. A body slam by Hakimoto scores. And it's an 88-point differential in terms of damage right now. Hakimoto down for the shoulders down after a flying punch by Garza. Supplé attempt by Garza. Garza doing everything he can to hold on. Submission move, and that does not cause a submission attempt. Hakimoto not taking the submission attempt here after a claw-like hold. Face rake by Hakimoto and arm hold by Hakimoto. Elbow. 1 in 6 in a 40 chance that would score the 3 count, which is actually more like 15%, if my math is correct, because that would be 3 in 20. Yeah, 15. Arm holds used by Hakimoto. And a submission. Yeah, he's not going to go for the arm breaker. He's wrestling a little more smartly now. Choking by Hakimoto. Remember, if we go 60, Garza wins the match. But a lot of damage being done here. I don't think this is going to go to 60. Supplé attempt by Garza, and he gets his man over. 9 points off of Hashimoto's stamina. Both these guys have now almost reached the empty tank. Leg hold by Garza. Submission move. And Garza also smart not to use it. Auto control loss. Action happening outside the ring. And we got a cut on the nose of Garza. 30 minutes into the bout. Garza now down 30 in cuts and 137 in damage. So if you could score this on points, Hashimoto would be leading. But there's Garza. Boom! Body slam. That's 9 points off. And here it goes again. Boom! Body slam. Disqualified check. Garza simply is a defeated man at this point and appears to be losing his equilibrium. Legal neck hold by Hashimoto. Submission move. And it's not going to be applied here. He's just, because there's really no chance of a submission here. Legal throw by Hashimoto. Out of control loss. It goes over to Garza. Garza with no action. Hashimoto with a kick. And Garza in a bad way as we approach the 35-minute mark. Leg hold by Hashimoto. Body slam. This could be it. It is. Hashimoto, the 13 seed. We have had back-to-back 13 seeds win tournaments in week 19. So Hashimoto, the 13 seed, he moves on. This was a 3.5-star match. Hashimoto goes from making his debut to running the table and winning the Los Angeles tournament. So Hashimoto by pin, which scores him 5 more points. So he will be a bigwig in the Los Angeles territory after this trip around the horn. When we come back in 4 weeks, week 24, he'll probably be at least a mid-card guy, if not a top-of-the-card guy. So went 332.30. Hashimoto with a systematic beatdown of a whole bunch of grapplers here in this Los Angeles tournament. 3.5-star match. Hashimoto advances, and now we will advance to the great city of Houston, Texas, for our next bout, a world title match. And now we travel on to the great city of Houston, Texas. Dory Funk Jr. against Wahoo McDaniel, a world title defense in the Houston circuit as Dory, who has now been champ 13 weeks, tries to maintain hold of his world title. Let's show you the other matches that took place prior to the main event we're about to show you. From Houston, old Dean Martin song for y'all. Some of you probably wondering, who the hell is Dean Martin? Mr. Olympia and Pedro Morales went to a double countout. Leroy McGurk is heading to another territory after losing to Crusher Verdue. We're hearing that could be the Dallas circuit. And as we move on, Red Bastine and Johnny Barron went to a time limit draw. Superstar Billy Graham, we hear he's heading to LA after being pinned clean in the middle by Gory Guerrero in about 5 minutes. The Road Warriors over the Asian Assassins by DQ. Terry Funk interfered. And it looks like the Funk Brothers trying to set up a feud with the Road Warriors, but right now Dory, defending his world title, probably not going to go for it. So as usual, Terry is writing checks he can't cash. And this brings us to our world title match. Actually, no, we had a scientific bout in the co-main event. Went 45 minutes to a draw, not 30 as I have written down. Dick Hutton did well late against Danny Hodge after Hodge dominated the early action. So it's kind of a tale of two bouts there, but it went to a 45-minute draw, got a 4-star rating. So now let's set up our main event. We used the Champions card of Dory Funk Jr.'s, and we used the face card of Wahoo McDaniel. Terry Funk wanted to be at ringside with it for this bout, but that was denied by the Houston Commission. So that will not be happening. This is a one-fall, 60-minute time limit bout. No trade of holds because Wahoo has no holds to trade. And actually, I set it up wrong. Forgot to note that Dory was the world champion. So I'll just do it again. Just hang on a moment, folks. We're bound to get it right one of these days. There. Now it is all set up correctly. Wahoo 3-1-1 coming into this bout. Dory 8-2-4 on his champions card. I do believe he has had some matches uh, before he became champion week 7 of the year. So this is it, folks. The title is on the line. Vogue seems to think that Dory will win, and we'll see what happens. Let's change angles and get our match started. Legal neck hold for Dory Funk Jr. After this bout, we head to Dallas. And the big match in Dallas this week is for the women's tag team title, Ella Waldek and Mae Young against June Byers and Millie Safford. So we'll have that little bout for you. A little frivolity before moving on to the through the circuit this week in Grand Slam Wrestling. We'll have a women's title bout after that and the world tag title bouts after that. So should be fun. Now to our main event. Looked like Dory was trying to get himself disqualified. A legal throw by Dory. That scores. We're very, very early in the bout. Slight, ever so slight cut on the bridge of the nose of Wahoo. He only loses 1 on cuts, which is about as good of a cut as you could have. Legal chop by Wahoo. You gotta watch those chops. He can get physical on you. Suplex attempt scores nicely for the challenger. Kick to the midsection by Wahoo. Of course, Wahoo was in the AFL for a while. Played for the Denver Broncos, the New York Jets, Miami Dolphins. Illegal choking by Wahoo. No action, no action. Legal throat chop again by Wahoo. Wahoo putting those chops in with great authority. Whipped to the ropes by Wahoo. Wahoo has the champ on the run early. Legal chop, no pin. Body slam by Wahoo. He's the bigger man here. Kicked by Wahoo. It's been all Wahoo. So far, he's already up 43 points in terms of the damage. 43 points less in damage. Suplex attempt by Wahoo. Kicked by Wahoo. Wahoo, a house of fire right now. No pin. He has scored 2 pin attempts already, and we're 7-18 into the bout. No action, no action, no action. Now Dory finally in control. Forearm is countered, so even when Dory goes out of the offense, Wahoo has an answer for it. Illegal arm hold by Wahoo McDaniel. Auto control loss. Of course, he once held the U.S. title, but he never held one of the big 3 belts in North America. Legal arm hold by Dory Funk Jr. Leads to a submission move, spinning toe hold, but it wasn't on there long. Wahoo kicks out of that. He's using punches now on the challenger. We're 10 minutes into the bout. 96 off of Dory Funk, 41 off of Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Auto control loss. Illegal throat chop countered. Hair pull by Dory Funk Jr. And Wahoo does not like getting his hair pulled. Visibly angry, and his stamina now reduced 4 points. Illegal punches by the champ. Kick by the champ. Arm hold countered, and here comes Wahoo. Another throat chop. 8 points off. Whipped to the ropes by Wahoo. No action. And a body slam. Might be too early to get him, but he's in good shape. And he's got good stamina. Sleeper. No. Too early for that. Of course, Wahoo won the Houston Monarch of the Mat Circuit qualified tournament. Dory Funk Jr. did not win the same tournament. He got beat. He got a double countout in the quarterfinals to superstar Billy Graham, who now appears to be heading to the Los Angeles circuit. Body slam by Wahoo, no. No action. Illegal forearm by Dory. Funk with control. The spinning toe hold countered. Specialty move. Sleeper. Not going to get him. Body slam. So Wahoo really taking it to Dory, almost a 104 point now difference. This is much reminiscent of, I think, the match with Bruno Sammartino, where Bruno was able to maneuver Dory around, but Dory got the quick pin on him about 40 minutes into the bout. Legal leg hold by Dory has had a lot of very tough foes as of late. He had, in the last 2 weeks, He has had Bruno Sammartino. He had 2 matches in the Houston tournament, which he did not survive to win. And then he has Andre, and then he's got Wahoo. But he is proving his mettle as the GSW World Champ. A pile driver countered by Dory. And Dory turned the tide now. Forearm. That's countered. Supplé by Wahoo. No. Didn't get him. Figure 4. No submission. You're not going to get a submission on Wahoo unless you break his leg, as Greg Valentine once did. I want to say it was 1977 in Mid-Atlantic. Chop to the forehead by Wahoo. 8 more points off of Dory. Throat chop countered. Legal biting by Dory. Trying to do anything to try to get a little bit of an edge here. Supplé attempt countered. Legal nerve hold countered. No, that legal nerve hold scored, and as the leg hold also scored, illegal punches by Dory, that also scores. Wahoo with the first 6 pin attempts of this match so far. Punches by Dory, that scores. A kick also scores. So Dory has done a lot of work in these last few minutes, but it's only gotten him to the point where he's 112 points behind in damage. Dory Funk stomping away on Wahoo as he was on the ring apron. 10 more points. Choking. 6 more points. Roll up. No, you're not going to get Wahoo that quick. Submission move. Sleeper. No. So Dory has rallied. Now he's only 83 points behind. Body slam. Pin attempt. Almost got him. He got a 4 on the 3 count. Needed a 2 or 1 to get the pin. So Wahoo now needs to find another gear here. Illegal forearm by Wahoo. Illegal punches. Punches by Dory. And no action. No action. Auto control loss back to Dory, who loses it control back to Wahoo. Submission move. And I'm just going to cancel that. Wahoo in control. And now Dory cut. And it's a bad one. A 28-point cut. Remember, title cannot change hands on a cut. Disqualification possible. No. Dory using punches. We're hearing that Antonino Rocca, who was just the World Junior Heavyweight title before losing it to Scotty 2 Hotty in Calgary, not in Calgary, but in the LA tournament. Antonino Rocca could be getting the next shot at Dory Funk Jr.'s world title. No pin. Illegal throat chop. Illegal elbow. Illegal elbow was countered. The big chop. No, didn't get him. But damage starting to mount now again for Dory. He's 142 points behind and 27 points behind on cuts. Arm hold by Andrew. Now we're halfway through the bout. Wahoo with the throat chop. No action. Chop by Wahoo. Ropes move was countered. Supplé attempt. No. We're 32 minutes in. Dory using arm holds. Hair pull by Dory. And again, Wahoo does not like it when you pull his hair. Pin hold with a tight pull. No. Supplé attempt does not score. Wahoo goes for a ropes move. No. Supplé attempt. Again, thud. Wahoo hits the deck with a thud. 10 more points off of his total. So Dory trying to make a few moves here. Spinning toe hold, but countered. Wahoo. Big chop. That is also countered. Wahoo with 8 pin attempts now to Dory Jr.'s 4. Barrage of punches by Dory. It's 15 more points off of Wahoo's stamina. Both these men. Wahoo's starting to look like he's running out of gas because he's at 36-33-2 on a base pin rating. Kick to the side of the head by Dory. Illegal punches by Dory. Dory trying to get a second win going. Courage is defined as being scared but still saddling up, and Dory Funk Jr. is still riding the best that he can. Do stamina by 4, so he's hit another stamina level. Legal chop by Wahoo. Arm hold by Wahoo. Arm hold by Funk. Specialty move, spinning toe hold again, countered. Kicked by Wahoo. Low blow by Wahoo. He's doing everything he can to try to win the title. Legal arm hold by Wahoo. Dory Funk in control. Disqualified check. He uses punches, so he gets out of it. Does not think he needs to get disqualified to keep the title. Biting by Dory Funk Jr., trying to open up Wahoo a little bit more, but no success. Actually, he bit his arm. And Wahoo now getting attacked, trying to come through the ropes in an effort to get back to the ring. Choking by Wahoo. Arm holds by Wahoo. We've gone past the 40-minute mark now. So Wahoo's only got about 18 minutes left to try to get him. Leg hold by Dory. Punches by Dory. Dory Funk Jr. Lips suplex. Lips him for a suplex. McDaniel is obviously dazed and staggered at this point in the match. No pin there. We're 43-26 into this bout. Throat chop by Wahoo. Arm hold by Wahoo. Ropes move countered. Kick by Dory countered. Throat chop by Wahoo finds the mark, and it's 8 more points off of the champion's total. Another chop. Another chop to the throat. And a suplex attempt, and this is going to score 11 points off of Dory's total. Body slam by Wahoo. And Dory staggered now. 9 points more off of his total. Forearm countered. Dory Funk using punches. He's going to try to get to the time limit. Speed move. Dory quickening the pace. Disqualified check. He uses punches to get out of it. He does not want to get disqualified at all costs. Headbutt by Dory. He didn't think he would try that on Wahoo. Counter move. Oh, and he goes postal on Dory Funk Jr. Another 15 points off. But we're getting down to the heart of the matter now. About 11 minutes left in the bout. Throat chop by Wahoo. Chop by Wahoo. Neck hold by Wahoo. Leg drop by Wahoo. Chop by Wahoo. Wahoo just pouring it on. But he's got to get some pins in. And arm hold by Wahoo. Another arm hold by Wahoo. Legal chop by Wahoo. Chop to the chest. A reverser by Wahoo. 8 more points off. But he's got to get some pins in. Dory, no. He cannot get the pin here. It's now 8-6 in pin attempts in Wahoo's favor, but Wahoo's got to get him. Spinning toe hold, no. Kick by Dory. Headlock by Dory. And this is the last thing Wahoo needs. He counters with a headlock. Submission move is not going to score. Wahoo, big chop. Oh, so close. Dory finds the ropes. We're 54 minutes into the bout. 6 to go. Leg hold. Headbutt. Throat chop. All by Funk. Arm breaker. No. We're under 5. Turnbuckle smash. No. Illegal punches. A throat chop. Wahoo trying to get it done. Dory loses it back to Wahoo. We're down to 2 minutes. Disqualified check. A suplex attempt. It scores. But he's got to try to get the pin. Legal throat chop. Legal elbow. Arm holds. Legal chop. And that's going to do it. Time limit draw. We went the whole 60. And look at the totals. 551 off of Dory Funk Jr. Only 308 off of Wahoo. This went the distance. A 60-minute draw. Wahoo will pick up 3. Actually, Dory is going to pick up 3 points. 1 point. It's going to be a 3-for-1. Dory Funk Jr. picks up 3. And Wahoo picks up 3 points to Dory's 1 for this bout. What a bout. 4.5 stars. Wahoo threw everything but the kitchen sink at him, but still could not wrest the title away from Dory Funk Jr. So that's the way this bout went in Houston, Texas. And now we head off to the Big D. And welcome to another part of this ongoing Grand Slam Saturday series of matches we have been doing for you during the week. Big Paulie coming to you. Tonight we're in the Dallas circuit. It's Ella Waldek and Mae Young against June Byers and Millie Safford. Both these teams have been multiple women's tag team champions in GSW. It was a title that began with Grapple Fest 1 at Yankee Stadium in New York. And these two teams have been duking it out throughout the 3 years. The tag titles have been in existence, so this should be just another good bout between these two. They're very evenly matched. Waldek and Young at 186, and Byers and Stafford rated 184. So let's show you the card in Dallas as it occurred. It was Ernie Ladd losing to Hakimoto. New Jack debuted in the Dallas circuit, was managing Ernie Ladd, and our debut policy, you could debut in GSW one of 3 ways. Actually, one of 4 ways. 1, you pass away in real life and we don't have you in GSW yet. 2, you make the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. 3, an entry draft that we do at the start of every year, and we're going to do one for year 5. I haven't worked out all the details yet because that's over half a year away. And 4, if a circuit runs out of, let's say, face wrestlers, heel wrestlers, or tag teams, they could be included kind of as an emergency situation. So we might see some more New Jack in Dallas. He was chosen to be in the Dallas region, and Hakimoto prevailed over him. In a battle of bullies, Eddie Gilbert wins by DQ over Boris Malenko. Terry Funk pins Bugsy McGraw. The Midnight Express, the Eaton and Condrey version of the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette managing them. They defeated Brian Adidas and Iceman King Parsons, so they will be going to another territory with that loss clean in the middle. In a grudge match, it was a bloody one between Kerry Von Erich and Bruiser Brody. Brody loses by DQ when he attempts to injure Kerry's back. Kerry will be out a few days, but he should make the next trip around the Horn. And they'll come back to Dallas in 4 weeks. Hiroyoshi Tenzan surprisingly easy over Tito Santana. And I should make notes about this bout. Tenzan, the 2-time international champ. Santana, a rare title shot for him, but it was Tenzan winning this one going away. 733 with a leg drop. So that brings us to our main event, and as I have said, I should probably pull it up here. So stand by a moment and I will show you. I'm going to go back to the opening screen, and I will show you the anatomy of this women's tag title championship. Only 14 teams have had matches in GSW. The latest being the Crush Girls to join in, and we'll tell you that as I pull up my title history and show you it over here. If the programming of the game will cooperate, and I could show you that. That's not what I wanted. Hang on, folks. That we've only had a few changes in the women's tag. Waldek and Young were the initial champs. Tokyo Sweethearts took the title off of them when Mae Young became world women's champ, and they had to vacate the title because you can't hold more than one title at any one time. Then it went to the Glamour Girls. Then it went back to Waldek and Young. Then Byers and Safford beat them. So Byers and Safford are two-time champs, but they have also been beaten twice for the title by Waldek and Young. So that's how that has been going. And we have our match all set up already. One fall, 60-minute time limit. I don't think we've ever done a ladies tag match on GSW so far, at least on the YouTube videos. So this should be interesting. We get it started. I think Vog thinks Waldek and Young should win the title in retain the title in the championship match. Waldek and Young, Ella Waldek and Mae Young, probably best known for Bubba Ray Dudley putting her through a table at a WWF Raw, or was it WWE by then? I think it was still WWF. But on we go. It's an all control loss for the champs. Challengers have a move, but no action. Boston Crab, and that does not lead to a submission, at least this early. You note that the stamina numbers are a little higher. Waldek and Young are 115.5. And Byers and Safford started at 111.5, meaning they have to go through 111 points to lose a stamina level. But there's more damage that can be done in these kind of matches. No pin, despite a big body slam attempt by Waldek. I think that was on Byers. Disqualified check stopped, countered. And it looks like Byers got Young up for a body slam that time. Legal leg hold. Auto control loss, outside the ring action. Punches being used by the champs. 6 points off of the total of Byers and Safford, I'm sorry. Knew I was going to mess that up. A double team attempt by Waldek and Young. A legal whip to the ropes. Kicked by the champs. Big body slam. This time it was countered by the challengers. A kick by the challengers. Byers bridge countered by the champs. Punches used by Waldek and Young. Kick to the midsection. No. Like I said, Byers and Safford have defeated Waldek and Young on 2 occasions to win the women's tag titles, but Waldek and Young have defeated Byers and Safford twice to win the titles back. There'll be a quiz on this later. Legal pin attempt, but the referee sees it, broke it up. Kicked by the champs. Body slam by the champs. Legal pin attempt. Caught by the referee and stopped. 6:28 into the bout, and the champs have already opened up a 53-point damage lead. Legal forearm by the champs scores. A suplex attempt scores. Ropes move. Flying forearm for the challengers. No such luck for the challengers to wrest the title away. By the way, this is the first match the challengers have had. Byers and Safford all year. The champs 4-1-2. Coming into this one. Double team attempt by Byers and Safford. That knocks 25 points off the total for the champs. And a move countered. Outside the ring action. Chair shot to the head. Oh, that looked like it was Safford that took that. 15 points off. Suplex attempt. And they get the suplex. The challengers do. Body slam by the challengers. Some double teaming by the challengers. That's 30 points off. So Byers and Safford closing the gap here a little bit. Illegal punches by the champs. That's 6 points off. No action. No action. We're at the 10-minute mark. Auto control loss. 2 pin attempts so far by the champs, 1 by the challengers. Legal knee by Byers and Safford. Countered by Waldek and Young. Actually, no, it was Waldek and Young going for a move countered by Byers and Safford. Legal forearm. No pin. We're at the 11:08 mark. Submission move countered. Double team attempt countered. Lots of counters going on. Elbow drop. And that's it. That is it. The champions retain. champions retain their titles in 12 minutes and 4 seconds, they will pick up 2 ranking points, and they'll probably get new challengers next week if the titles are on the line next week. Randomly draw to see which titles are at stake, although I do reserve the right to make one matchmaker's match, usually involving the world title. So Waldek and Young retained by pin. They'll get a +2 off of that. Young pins Safford with an elbow drop. In fact, let me just go back here and widen out. Okay. I might have been wide the whole time. Oh well. You sell it regardless. 111 to 147 on damage, and it got 3 stars in terms of how good of a match it was. So that's it for now. Now we're going off to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. Stand by. Our next stop on GSW Grand Slam Saturday takes us to Los Angeles for a women's title match. Fabulous Moolah, now the champ. She beat Mildred Burke on last week's show, as you'll recall. Well, now she is defending the women's championship against the very same Mildred Burke in the LA circuit. And we'll show you what's been happening in the matches in Los Angeles so far. So we'll have a few changes for Los Angeles as the result of the series of matches that were held before the main event. Jackie Fargo over El Texano, and El Signo interfered. Hector Garza defeated Negro Casas by DQ. Jim Lundos beat El Signo pinning Jim Lundos. Jim Lundos probably heading to another territory. Gordman and Goliath, a battle of bullies with the Tolos brothers. The Toloses survived by countout, and that went 118. Very quick match. Cowboy Bill Watts, in a grudge match with Goldust, has successfully knocked Goldust out of the LA territory. 655 in a small package. The Von Browners keep losing, but they keep keeping their belts. Saul Weingroff in their corner as they lose to the Guerreros by countout in 15-19, and that brings us to our big match. Fabulous Moolah coming in 3-3-2 for year 4. Mildred Burke 10-1-2. So a lot of people thinking that Burke will be able to wrest the title back and become women's champ a 5th time. Is that right? 5 times? Let me see. Let me see here, folks. I'm just gonna go back to your opening screen here for a moment. Stand by for just a moment as I pull up my stats, and I should tell you. And I do it this way because I don't want to show everybody where I keep the stats. And the answer is, well, I'll show it to you now because I have it pulled up. And I'll go to my WF angle here. Moolah, which is what I call the angle when I show the matches close up. Moolah is a 2-time champ. Burke is a 3-time champ. Which actually I think is no longer accurate. Moolah won the title a 3rd time last week. So Moolah, it's Burke going for the title a 4th time. See, when I make mistakes, I correct them. Right here for all of you to see. So we'll zip out of that. Okay. And I meant to show you the board, but I didn't realize I didn't have it over on the screen. So it's Moolah. They're both 3-time champs. Burke trying to win the title a 4th time. And we're underway. Must have missed something there, but we'll have to serve. So Moolah auto control loss to start the match 13 seconds in. Supplé attempt, and Burke is on point, getting the supplé over. Ropes move countered by Burke. Submission move, she goes for the bear hug. Ooh, and no submission there. Illegal choking by Moolah. Of course she's going to cheat. No action. Leg drop by Moolah. Face rake by Moolah, countered by Burke. Burke with it. And chair shot to the face. Oh, that's going to rearrange the facial features of the fabulous Moolah, and she's 15 more points down in damage. These two went to a 60-minute draw about a year or two ago, so they've had a lot of battles between the two of them. No action, low blow by Burke. Well, that's not going to hurt Moolah. Moolah does not have the equipment necessary for that to hurt, and I'll just leave it at that. Supplé attempt, no pin. Disqualified check. Burke using the top rope to choke. Burke choking Moolah, 10 more points off. Hey, Burke wants this championship back for a fourth time. We will not do the submission attempt. Arm breaker, body slam by Burke. Supplé attempt countered. And we have a result. Mildred Burke throws fabulous Moolah back into the ring and starts to re-enter the ring herself, not himself. Prior to getting back into the ring, the ref yells 10. Burke counted out. But we will likely see Moolah and Burke again because Burke is still, with the count-out loss, she is still the number one contender. But it's Moolah by count-out to retain. In fact, let me go wide. She'll pick up 3 points in this quick bout in LA, and it'll be the two of them again. The time of the fall, 6:11. Moolah was taking a bit of a shellacking, 67 points in damage to only Burke's 13. But it is Burke who will have to try to get the title another time. With Moolah's count-out win today. And with that, we're heading up I-5 to Portland, Oregon. Stand by. Our last stop for GSW Grand Slam Saturday this week takes us to Portland, Oregon, for a big match between the New Zealand Sheepherders, the challengers, and former World Tag Team Champions, although they held it for a week. About a year or so ago, they faced the defending champions Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat. They have now been champions 16 weeks, and everybody seems to think they're due for a loss, and we'll see if they could pull something out right here today. And I will set up the tag team match for you right now because I forgot to do so in my haste to get started. Grand Slam Saturday next week, we're going to lead off with the title defense of the brand new World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Scotty 2 Hotty. Well, we'll see how long he lasts. He gets Chris Jericho up in Calgary. Then we go back to Portland and go back to Calgary for the Monarch of the Mat tournaments there. The final match for each of those regions, and then we'll have some action from week 21. So the challengers are the New Zealand Sheepherders. They are the combination of Butch Miller and Luke Williams, who would later go on and become the Sheepherders. Of course, some of you youngins recognize the Bushwhackers. Well, before they were the Bushwhackers, they were a highly skilled and not very well liked tag team called the Sheepherders. Originally, the Sheepherders were Jonathan Boyd and Luke Williams, and then Butch Miller. When Jonathan Boyd, I think, got injured in an automobile accident, Butch Miller came in and fit the bill quite nicely for them. So this is a one-fall, 60-minute time limit match. Looks like I have it set up and in order. We will get back to the match in just a moment. We'll go through the Portland card. Barry Windham drew with Fishman. It was Windham's debut in the Portland circuit before any extracurriculars could take place. Sorry about that as I banged the microphone on my headset. Blackjack Mulligan came out and said, "You might like me, you might hate me, but I will look out for my son." And with that, the crowd cheered Blackjack Mulligan for the first time. He would have a match on the ensuing bout with Gene Kiniski, and Mulligan easily won that. 8:07 with a claw hold. Then it was Roddy Piper and Toshiaki Kawada. Piper wins by DQ when Kawada was getting frustrated with him. 11:07. And the Southern Rockers pull an upset, beat the Hells Angels by countout 16 and a half minutes. Antonino Rocca, it was supposed to be Andre the Giant and Stan Hansen in this bout, but Rocca became the top free agent, so he goes on the road and goes to one territory per week, kind of like the champions do. And it was Rocca winning by countout 10-31. Big surprise here as Jack Sherry, who just won the North American title in one of the recent tournaments. I believe it was the Dallas tournament. By winning the Dallas tournament, he became the North America champion because Hodge lost it to one of the Japanese wrestlers, who I'm drawing a blank on at the moment. And if you watch watch my videos as of late, that tends to happen. But I have it here somewhere. I'll tell you who the champion was for a moment. It was Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura was briefly the North American champion, and he lost the belt in the finals to Jack Sherry. Well, Sherry made mincemeat out of Dick Daviscourt, beating him in just 134 seconds with the sunset flip. And one note before we begin the proceedings in this match, check out the interview I just recently did with Tom Vogel, the creator of Wrestling's Finest. We shot the breeze for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Had a good crowd attend that episode of the meet on the live chat, so I hope you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed interviewing Tom very much. So with that, we'll get started with our match. The main event here in Portland, Oregon. We'll look at the trades, and the Sheepherders have a couple of moves to trade here. And this is a title match, one fall 60. Sheepherders have to get a pin or submission, or the team of Youngblood and Steamboat move on to the next territory, which will be one of the international ones, unless they draw the bye and have the week off. They will be competing next week. Next week in terms of game time, not in terms of next week in terms of when you will see a Grand Slam Saturday next on the 29th of May, 7 o'clock, the Memorial Day weekend edition. And computer seems to think Youngblood and Steamboat will prevail here. And there's your tail of the tape, dead center. One fall 60. And both these teams should be about evenly matched, about the same stamina, about the same pin rating. And we'll get the match started. In fact, let me zoom in. There we go. And hit the transition button here on my OBS Streamlabs. And off we go. Legal whip to the ropes by the challengers to start the match off. This is one fall 60. I needed a chest. Challengers go for the double team right away, and they pick up 15 points of stamina. Actually, the champs lose 15 points of stamina. The champs coming in 9-4-3 in 16 bouts this year. And the Sheepherders split down the middle. 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, mainly competing out of the Portland region. Kick by the Sheeps. No action. Double team attempt countered. Double team attempt successful for the champs. Remember, these teams can take a lot more damage in these matches. Submission, we'll cancel that out this early. Again, we'll cancel it out because there's no chance of getting the submission. Legal chop, no pin there. 2:47 into the bout. Legal throw by the champs. No pin. Biting by the Sheepherders. Now, that's something they used to do. And they take a chunk out of, I guess, it looked like it was Steamboat's arm. Yes, it is. It's looking a little raw right now, and that's 5 more points off of the stamina. Damage race right now about dead even. Double team attempt. 20 more points off of the champs' totals. Fan interaction. Sheepherders expand energy, pleading the crowd to stop booing them. Yeah, don't think that's going to happen, even though they are regulars in the Portland region. And we have a double team attempt by the Sheepherders, 20 more points off. They seemed to have a lot of trouble last week when they faced the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. They were very fortunate to survive that match. Another double team attempt. Slam and a body press. This is the pet hold of the champs. A slam body press combo, and the Sheepherders make it to the ropes. They escape. Ropes move. Youngblood and Steamboat vault from the ropes, deliver a flying clothesline. So we're back even on damage. Headlock by the champs countered. Choking by the Sheepherders is successful. Neck hold countered. We go back to the champs. Their move countered, a ropes move. Legal hair pull. They looked like it yanked the Steamboat down by the hair, and he's gonna feel that tomorrow. -4 points off. We're at 6:45, and the challenger's slightly ahead on damage at this point. Double team attempt countered. Legal chop by the champs, no pin. Legal throat chop by Youngblood and Steamboat succeeds, as does an illegal eye gouge. Legal chop by the champs countered. Hair pull by the challengers succeeds. Some more double teaming, and it's a big series of double teams. 35 points off the champions total. So we're at 834, and now the champs down about 30 points in damage. Sheepherders ponder their next move, and it allows Youngblood and Steamboat to get control. Speed move, 7 more points off. Legal leg drop. This is a possible pin, but no. Another legal chop. No pin there. So far we have had 5 pin attempts by the champs and none for the challengers. We're 10:08 now into the bout. Double team successful by the champs. Another double team successful by the champs. Flying drop kick. Double flying drop kick. No. Does not succeed, and the match continues. Headlock by Youngblood and Steamboat, trying to slow down the pace of the match. And, look at this. The Sheepherders hit with a small chain. Didn't draw any blood, but it's 25 points off of the damage. The damage rate still about even. And we have had something happen here. The champs have retained the titles. And we will check. New Zealand Sheepherders grab Youngblood and Steamboat and drag them out of the ring. New Zealand Sheepherders use a chair several times on Youngblood and Steamboat, and a massive cut results. Wrestlers hit the ringside area but are too late, as Youngblood and Steamboat possibly suffer a serious injury. And they're going to be out 10 days. They cannot defend their titles next week. And the rule we use in GSW is if they cannot defend in 30 days, then they are for 30 days. If that is the prognosis, then we strip them of the titles. But Youngblood and Steamboat are going to win by a disqualification. A sour note to end this episode of GSW Grand Slam Saturday. They win by DQ. In fact, let me widen out to the display capture. You can see me type this in. Youngblood and Steamboat by DQ. That will get them 1 point in the rankings. They will not be competing next week, so we know that there will not be a World Tag Team title defense next week, and they could take the time off, and they could come back in week 22 in game time. Time of the fall was 12:23. Sheeps attempt to injure the champs, who will be out 10 days. So they will come back Actually, if I bring them back in week 22, they would still have, technically, 3 days left. They're going to be out 2 weeks. But that is still enough time where they don't lose their titles via forfeit for not defending them every 30 days. So the damage off was 146 to the champs, 154 to the challengers, and the match got a 2.5 star rating. So that concludes this episode of Grand Slam Saturday. I hope you all enjoyed it. This has been Big Polly coming to you, wishing you all well, Godspeed, and God bless. We'll be here next week, Lord willing, and if the creek doesn't rise, for the May 29th edition of Grand Slam Saturday. Bye bye for now, everybody.